Hello guys, my name is Tanay Rashinkar and I'm going to give a presentation on graph. Graph is basically a type of data structure. So what is a graph? A graph is an ordered pair G equals V comma E comprising a set V of vertices and a set E of edges or lines. Yeah, so the vertices belonging to an edge are called end vertices, and a vertex may exist in a graph and it cannot belong to an edge. Yeah, so there are many types of graphs. The different types of graphs which I'm going to explain today are as follows. I'm going to talk about undirected and directed graphs. You can see that in the picture in the slides, and the mixed graphs and weighted graphs, and then I'm going to discuss some properties of graphs and the basic graph operations. So yeah, what is an undirected graph? An undirected graph, as the name suggests, is a graph in which the edges have no orientation. The edge x comma y is identical to the edge y comma x. That is, they are not like ordered pairs. And you can find the maximum number of edges in an undirected graph using the formula n into n minus 1 by 2. Another type of graph is a directed graph. A directed graph, as you can see here, is a graph in which edges have orientations. That is, this edge is connecting to this edge, and it is written as an ordered pair G equals V comma A, sometimes G equals V comma E, in which V is a set of elements called vertices and A or E is called edges. So yeah, there are directed lines in this graph. Now, mixed graph. A mixed graph is a graph in which some edges may be directed and some may be undirected. So yeah, so there would be say 2 or 3 edges which are directed and some edges which are undirected. Weighted graph. A weighted graph is a graph in which there is a number assigned to each edge. Such weights might represent costs, lengths, or capacities depending on the problem at hand. Some authors call a graph a network. So there are a lot of algorithms like shortest path and traveling salesman problem in which such graphs arise. So yeah, what are the properties of graphs? There are some properties of graphs which are common, like two edges of graph are called adjacent if they share a common vertex. Similarly, two vertices are called adjacent if they share a common edge. And also, the graph with only one vertex and no edges is called trivial graph. A graph with only vertices and no edges is called an edgeless graph. And the graph with no vertices and no edges is sometimes called a null graph or an empty graph, you can say. But the terminology is not consistent and different people might call it in different ways. So I'll just provide you with an example. So you can see the diagram. The diagram is a graphic representation of the following graph with vertices as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there are some edges 1 to 2, 1 to 5, 2 to 3, 2 to 5, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and 4 to 6. So as you can clearly see the edges and the vertices in this graph. There are also some operations in graphs. They are of two types, unary as well as binary operations. The unary operations which create a new graph from an initial one are like line graph, its contraction, complement graph, etc. And there are some binary operations like disjoint union of graphs, Cartesian product of graphs, etc. So yeah, this is all about graphs. Thank you.